Hello friends, welcome to Learn Testing Easy at Home channel. Today we are going to learn 7 principles of software testing. We know what is software testing. It is the process of executing a software application with the intent of finding defects and to make sure whether the software meets customer requirements and expectations or not. That is software testing. Actually, if you have experience in software testing, automatically you will follow these 7 principles of software testing. Suppose if you are a fresher, at that time you have to learn 7 principles of testing. These 7 principles of software testing will help you why we have to review a test case, why testing has to be started from earlier phase of development lifecycle, why we cannot perform exhaustive testing. We can get to know all these things if you know 7 principles of software testing. The first one is exhaustive testing is not possible. Exhaustive testing means testing a software application functionality by taking all possible inputs, which includes both valid and invalid inputs, and preconditions is nothing but exhaustive testing. Actually, we cannot perform exhaustive testing. It's because of if you want to call a software application as a quality software application, it has to be bug free and it has to meet customer requirements and expectations, and it has to be delivered on time, and it has to be within the budget, and it has to be maintainable. Then only we can call a software application as a quality software. But if you try to perform exhaustive testing, we cannot deliver a software application on time. I will give an example for this. Suppose we have an application in that we have an amount field, and that amount field accept values greater than or equal to 500 and less than or equal to 49,999. This is the test condition for that input field. And if you try to perform testing by taking all possible valid and invalid inputs, it takes a lot of time, effort and cost. So exhaustive testing should not be performed and it cannot be done. If you try to perform it, we cannot deliver software application on time. We have to put lot of effort and cost will be increased. So exhaustive testing is not possible. That is the first principle of software testing. Second one is defect clustering. Defect clustering means if you find most of software defects in less number of modules, that will be called as defect clustering. There is a principle, that is a Pareto principle to software testing. It states if you find 80% of defects in 20% of modules, that will be called as defect clustering. I know and we know what is a defect. It is a variance between expected and actual result that is found by test engineer. And third one is pesticide paradox. Pesticide paradox means suppose we have a test case. If you execute same test case again and again on a software application, the same test case cannot find new defects if you execute the same test case for multiple times. That is pesticide paradox. So we have to review test case frequently and we have to update it to find new defects. That is the third principle of software testing. Fourth one is testing always talks about presence of defect only. The main objective of testing only to find defects and to ensure software meets customer requirements and expectations. So testing always talks about presence of defect only. Suppose if test engineer gets a build, so he has to break the functionality of an application by executing a test case. That's it. His intention has to be breaking the functionality of an application. Fifth one is absence of an error is a fallacy. Suppose we have a software application that is 99% bug free application. Even 99% bug free application may become unusable if it doesn't meet customer requirements and expectations. It is because of Suppose if you try to perform testing once software is completely developed, at that time suppose requirements will be collected by business analyst, and if he commits any mistake while collecting requirements, and for wrong requirements software will be developed, and that software application is 99% bug free application, but we developed software application for wrong requirements, so it will not reach customer requirements and expectations. So 99% bug free application, that is not at all enough, it has to meet customer requirements and expectations. So sixth one is early testing. Just now only I gave an example. Suppose if we commit any mistake at earlier phase of development lifecycle while collecting requirements, or while preparing test cases, while preparing test plans, while preparing test scripts, once a document is prepared it has to be reviewed. If there is any issue in that, it can be identified then and there itself. It's because of, suppose if you find a defect at earlier phases of development life cycle, cost of fixing of that defect is very less. If you find the same defect at later stages of development life cycle, cost of fixing of that defect is very high. So early testing has to be conducted. Testing has to be done from earlier phase of development life cycle. From requirement analysis itself, requires testing has to be started. Once requirements were collected in the form of user stories in Agile, it has to be reviewed at first. That's early testing, sixth principle of software testing. Seventh one is testing is always context dependent. That means according to type of application and requirements, so types of testing that will be performed on software application, it will be varied. Suppose if you take a mobile application, for that different testing types has to be performed. If you take a standalone application, for that different software testing types will be performed, and according to requirements also it will be changed. So testing is always context dependent. These are all the seven principles of software testing. I think you understood the seven principles of software testing. Thank you guys.